I tell y'all what's on my mind?
Why's
I've been getting a couple of things on my chest.
This your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be your son as your kinfolk. William Jewell, giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating rap, 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 rap. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn all the notifications on so you can get all the new content, all the new posts when I make them. I just came here to give y'all my detail, right? My articulation, just my perspective on hip hop, right? And damn, I've been doing it for a year now, right? I can honestly say I've been doing this for a year. I started in January, right? And we getting close to that, so maybe like a couple more weeks, and I'll fully eclipse that 1 year uh date. And man, I'm just appreciative. I don't have a lot of subscribers. I don't have a lot of viewership, but I just like to do it, so I stay on it. Some people like to hear from me, and it's a lot of people that want to hear from me, but they don't even know I exist. So until they know it, I exist, until they can actually get to hear me, that's what we pushing for. That's what we trying to do. And I love hip hop. I love music. I used to rap, right? I used to rap at the age of 13. I stopped at 27. I used to rap, and I just never was able to kind of get away from my love for hip hop. So that's why I continue to do what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to involve myself somewhat in the music industry, you know, insert in some aspect. So that's why I do this channel, right? That's why I do this podcast. That's why I do this show. Man, and it's kind of it's a lot to talk about, man. It's a lot of things that went on in this past week, man. It's a lot of conversation that we can really get to. A lot of things that went on, a lot of things that need to be talked about, a lot of stones that need to be turned over, right? And one of those first stones, we got to get to Lana, right? We got to get to the scissor, the Lana Deluxe, right? Because SOS was already 24 tracks. Right, now we got Lana. Now we got a 38 track musical body of work. And I'm no stranger to the 30 track bodies of work because I'm a fan of Dirk. And on his deluxes, he's done kind of the same thing. But what's different and what's special about this one is that this deluxe comes approximately 2 years after the original release of SOS. And to be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of SOS when I first heard it. Like, it was a little bit all over the place for me, and just what I wanted from SZA. I feel like it gave me certain glimpses, it gave me certain flashes of that SZA, but it didn't give me the SZA that I wanted in full capacity. And that SZA that I'm speaking about is the R&B SZA, right? The SZA that talks to me, right? Talks to my love interest, talks to the way, I look at relationships, talks to my toxicity. I mean, she has some songs, man, like Snooze, like she has some songs that really did numbers, right? And still doing numbers to this day. SOS really did numbers. But I thought it was just too pop for my liking. I thought it was kind of like all over the place. And to me, it was more of like a playlist album. And it seemed like it was some throwaways. But I guess the general masses and the people loved it. So, I mean, who am I to knock it? Right? I can only appreciate it for what it is. Right? But this Lana Deluxe is the SZA I wanted because it is the R&B. It is SZA talking to the culture. It is SZA speaking for the ladies, but also not leaving the men on the sideline. She's bringing us into the game. Diamond Boy. She made me feel like I was a diamond. Am I saying too much? Am I doing too much? I remember when the ladies said a lot. I remember when the ladies did a lot back in my past days. And, it was kind of reminiscent for me, right? But one song that stood out, right? And everybody know this song stood out like a sore thumb. It stood out like black, white, yellow, and green. It stood out like the Grinch, right? Because this is Christmas time. It stood out like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It stood out, right? Like that pizza face man off Goonies. It stood out, right? And I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. We're talking about 30 for 30 with Kendrick Lamar. That's me, passed out in the backseat, cashed out in the backseat beach. Like, that flow, like SZA, man, she was singing, she was rapping, she was giving you different cadences. Like, and what Kendrick Lamar did with the melodic raps and just the verse, like, it's being talked about, it's being looked at, it's being put underneath that microscope, it's being viewed, right? Under through a telescope, because we're stargazing at this point. We're seeing two stars in alignment. We're following the drinking gourd, for the old man is awaiting for to carry you to freedom if you follow the drinking gourd. Right? The constellations. That's what Harriet used to find her way through the Underground Railroad, and we see these two stars of Kendrick Lamar and SZA aligning perfectly in the sky and giving us a path to follow to the Super Bowl, a path to follow to the Grand National Tour, a path to follow to 2025 and where music might be in the future. Right? And just that verse from Kendrick. Just that verse. I mean, a lot of people are saying he's talking about Drake. Like, and the fact that we go to Euphoria and he said, when you stand by Sexy Red, I believe you see two bad bitches. I believe you don't like women. You see them as competition. You might just pop ass with them. Like, when he said, you messing with dudes that think they cuter than you, you say you on your cycle, but he on his period too. Like, we gotta know that's that correlation. But at the same time, he can talk about any man that really thinks he's too pretty. Right? I remember when we was in high school, niggas used to wear braids. They had the cornrows. They had the little hang time. They was in their football uniforms. They wanted to make sure they was dressed to the T. They wanted to have them spat on they cleats. They wanted to have all the armbands. They wanted to have the gloves. They wanted to have the visor. And them niggas get out on the field and was trash. Them niggas get out on the field and they couldn't even play the game. Had the Under Armour. Had everything you can imagine from Dick's Sporting Goods. Had everything you could imagine from Academy. And either they was sitting on the bench and their jersey was clean at the end of the game. They didn't want to get hit. They didn't want to catch the ball. They didn't want to hit nobody. Or they was trash. Right? They was sorry. They thought they was pretty. And at the end of the day, when you think you too pretty and you not willing to get aggressive, you're not willing to get in them trenches, you're not willing to get in that mud, that speaks to your masculinity, that speaks to your manhood, that speaks to the man that you are. And I mean, look at me, a chocolate man, right? Smooth skin, right? Muscles. I felt like I looked good. I looked in the mirror and appreciated myself. So I can't get mad that Kendrick sent that shot, right? Cause I think I'm cute. I think I look good, right? And with this long hair, there are some women I feel like I look better than, even with the beard. So he was sending straight shots at my way too. Maybe not just Drake. He also said you in the mirror more than them bitches. He said that on Mr. Morale. Like he's always been saying it. So like men who have feminine nature, right? Trying to be too pretty, right? So man, like it applies to Drake. Everything he said in that verse applies to Drake. I might cut his head off and wear it for fashion. I might go to the max on this shit. Like he's stepping on the gas, he's stepping on the pedal, he not letting up. And I appreciate SZA for letting him use this deluxe project as an outlet, as another way to get things off his chest. And whether he's talking about Drake, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, like Jay-Z and Nas, like Pac and Biggie, everybody has already said this, so I'm not saying nothing no different than the other commentators or reaction people who have said about Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Their story will be forever tied to each other. So regardless of who he's talking about, if he's not talking about nothing, we're always going to think that he's talking about Drake. But throw some D's on that Rich Boy selling that, like that sample. And obviously that song was sampled from another song. So just like we know if you perform a hit or perform a good song on top of something that was already successful, usually that's going to be another hit. Usually it's going to work for you. I mean, and to be honest, in this Deluxe, we heard a lot of samples from SZA. Like heard some Isley Brothers. We heard some samples, like, and those are going to be hits. Like, because the formula has already been proven to work. And sometimes with originality being somebody who applauds originality, somebody who upholds originality. Like, and even when you talk about Luther, right? I don't hate it because that is the root of what hip hop was born in. Right? When we go back and look at how hip hop was born, it was derived from samples. It was derived from people's music, putting it together and making a collective beat. That's how hip hop was born. So recycling certain samples, that's only a part of the game. But I am somebody that does champion the originality, and to be honest, I feel like Kendrick hasn't used too many samples before. But in GNX, and then we hear in this SZA album they're being used. So I champion originality, but I also respect people recycling these samples in old songs to give them even more attention. But at the same time, when you look at it, like if that was already a hit and you're using it again, you're pretty much guaranteeing yourself a hit. And when you put Kendrick Lamar and SZA on a track like that, that's kind of a cheat code. So that's really my only critique of the album. Like, the classic samples is a cheat code. Like, this shit is just a cheat code. It's easy, right? It's easy work. And it's SZA, she gonna have a big budget. It's Kendrick Lamar, he gonna have a big budget. And these are two people that's gonna put music at the forefront. So regardless, they're gonna want some good music, quality music. So they don't mind spending that money for that sample, right? And when I think about 616 in LA, he used a sample. Al Green, I wonder. Like, man, like Kendrick Lamar, he's a genius at this point. He's a musical genius. I don't think that can be denied. And just listening to SZA, I don't know if she wrote her own lyrics or Kendrick helped her do this. So 30 for 30, that's kind of my synopsis on it. Like, I don't want to take a too big of a deep dive on that song because the song was just a part of the album, and the Deluxe deserves more recognition. The Deluxe deserves more attention because they about to be on tour. And I really like the Deluxe. This is what I wanted from SZA. More R&B. She has some pop, right? BMF, Scorsese, Baby Daddy, Love All of Me, right? She has some pop on her, but at the end of the day, I think Love Me for Me. But at the end of the day, I think she really catered to her R&B fan base, and I think that's why she put it as a deluxe, so she was able to cater to her, foundational fan base, but still give us, quality music, and I appreciate it from her. I might skip the pop songs. I might not listen to that Scorsese, Baby Daddy, or BMF that much, but I'm definitely going to be tuned in to this album. And I feel like once this Christmas time is over and the Mariah Carey songs and stuff like that are done, I could see this album really charting. I could see the songs charting, right? Because they really gifted us at this time. And they could have waited until January, until this whole thing was over, to give us some music. But they did it right now. And the fact that they did it right now is they don't care about charts. They don't care about the numbers. I think the songs is going to do what they're going to do eventually. I think one of these songs, especially 30 for 30, is going to be something big. So I can't wait to hear it. I already got my tickets to the tour. Me and the wifey, I can't wait to hear it. But one thing I've been continuing to hear is the Drake lawsuit drama, right? It's getting messy. Shit getting real messy. And I mean, I wish it didn't have to be like that. I wish he would have never sued. I wish, he would have never engaged in this beef. I wish he would have never called it quits, but he did, and all those things happened. And now I have to continue to talk about Drake. And the thing is, before this beef, like, I always used to get on Drake. Niggas always said I hated Drake. I was hating on Drake. I didn't like Drake. Like, the thing is, I always saw Drake for who he was. And these guys that I know, right, that are in the group chat, these guys who are my friends, right, they like Drake's music. But Drake, the person, like, knowing the person that they are, the character, the guys of integrity that they are, I don't think they will rock with Drake like that if he was a real person in their life. If he was a real person without the fame, without the money, but just the person with the character flaws and issues that he has, I don't think we will be a friend of his. And if you are a friend of him and you bring him around, it'll be hard to be a friend of yours. So it's like, I feel like I be getting on Drake more, but now I feel bad for him because we've been getting on him so much. But at the same time, it's like, bro, I already saw this shit. Like, Kendrick ain't said nothing new that I ain't seen. Kendrick ain't said nothing. Like, a lot of people been letting a lot of shit go because they like him. A lot of people been letting that shit go, right? Let shit fly because they like him. But, like, he already been exposed. Kendrick didn't expose him to me, right? I always thought he was soft. I always thought, like, he wasn't authentic. And as we go on, I'm going to read a little bit of what Spotify said in a response to Drake's lawsuit claims. And Beyond denying the allegations, Spotify repeatedly criticizes Drake for going to court in the first place, calling his claims of a conspiracy far-fetched and speculative, and questioning why Spotify, a stranger to the long-running feud between Drake, Kendrick, and UMG, is even involved. So we're a stranger. We're just the third party. We're just the messenger. They're basically saying, do not shoot the messenger. We just putting this music up. Y'all put this music up. Like, we're not in cahoots. So here's the quote, right? The predicate of petitioner's entire request for discovery from Spotify is false. Spotify and UMG have never had any such arrangement. What petitioner is seeking to do here is to bypass the normal pleading requirements and obtain by way of pre-action discovery that which it would only be entitled to seek were it to survive a motion to dismiss. This subversion of the normal judicial process should be rejected. The petition asserts no specific facts of any kind in support of these alleged RICO and deceptive practices violations. Instead, it relies exclusively on speculation or the claims of anonymous individuals on the internet. Right? So basically, all these claims that these are bots, you talking about DJ Academics when he was talking about this stuff. And he was talking about people were saying that Kendrick botted this song. And you're talking about the Jeremy Heck saying when they were asking Alexa to play Certified Lover Boy and they played Not Like Us. They saying this shit is just internet shit. Like, this is not even a real thing. He's getting his information from the internet and he's trying to run the court about it. And then they also saying, like, this is not even the typical protocol. Like, this is not, he can't even get a discovery. He shouldn't even be asking for a discovery. You got to go through the grounds of dismissal. You got to pass being dismissed before you can even ask for discovery. Like, when people go to trial, they don't get the information from the defendants or the prosecutors until the trial is actually in place. They got to go through these pre-hearings to decide if this case will even be tried. And he's trying to bypass that legal situation, and he's trying to ask for stuff before, like, it's even been accepted that this is going to be a case. So that's the whole point. That's what Spotify is saying. And I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what it seems like. That's what I'm hearing. I'm no lawyer. I don't know legalese. I don't know that talk. But from my understanding, that's what I'm hearing. And then a spokesperson from Drake's legal team responded on Friday saying in a statement to Variety, it's not surprising that Spotify is trying to distance themselves from UMG's allegedly manipulative practice to artificially inflate streaming numbers on behalf of one of its other artists. If Spotify and UMG have nothing to hide, then they should be perfectly fine complying with the basic discovery request. Yeah, I get that, right? They should be fine if they have nothing to hide. Like, I don't have nothing to hide, right? If I got books, if I got files in my cabinet in my office and I have nothing to hide, that still doesn't mean I want you to go through snooping through my shit just because you can. Like, I don't want you in my house. I don't want you in my business. I don't want you in my files. I don't want you on my computer. I don't want you in my text messages. I don't want you into none of that stuff. Boy, get out of here. I don't want you in my text messages. I don't want you in none of that stuff. Right? Because that's my business. Like, you might not find nothing that got anything to do with you, but still, that's my personal business. Why do I need to open that up? So that's what we getting at here. That's what it sounds like Spotify is really saying. Like, Like they trying to say, okay, well, if you ain't got nothing to hide, well, show us. Well, no, I'm not gonna show you because I still don't want you snooping around my shit. Like, regardless, you trying to say I'm lying about some shit. You trying to say, no, it don't work like that. Get the right, just get the right consent, get the right permission, and then you could do it. But until you do that, you can't do that. Cause I'ma stand pat by my decision. I don't want y'all snooping in my shit. I don't want you in my house. I don't want you in my files. I don't want you in my business. I don't want you into none of that. Right? Just because for my feelings of my personal business, I don't want you into that. So I feel like Drake's team saying that is like, it's kind of like gaslighting. It's kind of trying to throw it back on them and saying like, well, if you have nothing to hide, why don't you show it? But at the same time, it's like, no, regardless if I had nothing to hide, I'm still not giving you access. So unless you do it the right way, then you won't get access. And at the same time, do Spotify got some shit to hide? Maybe so. Maybe so, because we all know that they've done things for Drake, right? If that's what it boils down to, we all know that they done things for Drake. And the only reason why Drake has this information is because Drake has been a recipient of this type of behavior. So at the end of the day, it's not like he wasn't a beneficiary of this thing. So what's the point? But I like how Russ, if you know Russ, the rapper / singer, Russ, I like how he said it best. All right, and I'm going to read what he said. I like how from what I understand, they pushed the hearing back because the hearing was December 20th, and they pushed the hearing back. So now what I know is they like really posturing. They trying to figure things out. They trying to make some settlements. They trying to figure things out behind the scenes. So when they keep pushing the court dates back and back, they trying to reach an agreement before they even have to go to court and even actually, like, do a case on this. Right? Mitigate or, you know what I'm saying? Litigate these circumstances. So Russ, he put a disclaimer. He said, I love Spotify and I'm grateful for the platform that has connected my music with millions of fans worldwide. And this isn't about any label or artist in particular, more so just the system. Okay, he's saying Spotify knows who's faking their streams, LOL. However, they're not going to ever, in my opinion, publicly expose any major labels due to potential consequences. Right? So major labels could retaliate by pulling their top artists from music from Spotify that will obviously diminish Spotify's value and attractiveness to subscribers. Spotify just punishes them behind the scenes, removes fake streams, and removes a song from playlists because they prioritize, makes sense, maintaining their access to major label content over publicly confronting stream manipulation, which essentially makes them a hostage of the major labels. Basically, Spotify publicly outing major labels is a lose-lose for everyone involved. Right? Because if you're not going to be streamed on Spotify, so Spotify has a connection with these major labels, right? So if they put these major label businesses out on Front Street, right, it's going to hurt them because the consequences could be the major labels turn on them, right, remove their artists from the streams. And now they're losing consumers, they're losing subscribers because they don't have that musical content that people are looking for. And then at the end of the day, since Spotify is a place that people go to stream, these artists are also losing other streams and revenue that could be coming from Spotify, you know what I'm saying, to help them get more attention, to help them get more streams, and just to help them sell more music. So it's a lose-lose from everyone, the record labels, Spotify, and even the artists. So it goes back to Drake. Like, is he really doing this for himself or is he doing this for the music industry? And when Russ put it like that, if it's going to hurt the major labels, if it's going to hurt the business of Spotify and in turn hurt the artists in general, like, is it really going to help anyone? And I know that a lot of independent artists believe that, well, we don't know like how we can count our streams. We don't know how we can get our dollars. We don't know what a stream is worth. Like, we don't know like who are these streaming companies, DSPs, that determine like what a stream of our song is worth. Right? Because that's how the artists are thinking. Like, if we could just do this physical, it'll be easier to monetize this. So at the same time, it will be a lose-lose for the DSPs and the record labels, but it could be a win for the artists if they find another way to get their product out globally, worldwide at an efficient manner. Right? That's the only way like you can really win. And at the end of the day, why don't you just make a website, put your shit on the website, you know what I'm saying? Put ads out there so people can go to your website, buy the music, be able to download it on a phone, whatever, and do it like that, right? I feel like shit. That seems like it would be an easy thing, but like I feel like all the old songs, all the artists that we don't hear about, they're on these streaming sites, and there's no way to find these new artists, discover new music. Just discover new vibes and just different feelings and just, you know what I'm saying, music that we want to hear that we don't know that we need to hear. Artists that we like that has dropped something and we don't even know they dropped. And because we're using these streaming services now, we can look them up easily. So, I mean, damn, it's crazy. It's a lot of web of confusion. It's tricky. It's complex. But I mean, damn. It's really like a damn if you do, damn if you don't thing. So I think really the goal is to make sure that Kendrick doesn't get to perform not like us on a Super Bowl level. I think that's really what this petition is about and what this potential lawsuit could mean. Like, I think that's what it means. So, you know, we'll see. I mean, that's what 50 Cent said, right? Because we see 50 Cent just saying some crazy ass, loose ass shit about Kendrick Lamar, like, and he not hating, like, and he not subliminally hating no more. It's very loud. It's very public. Like I made a episode last week talking about 50 Cent and the op list, and I wonder what 50 Cent has against Kendrick Lamar. He did the Power Show. I wonder what 50 Cent has against Kendrick Lamar. He's worked with Dr. Dre. He's paid homage to Eminem. I wonder what 50 Cent has against Kendrick Lamar. Is it because he's from Compton like the game? Is it because, you know, they come from the same place? I don't know. What does 50 Cent have to do with Kendrick Lamar? Is it because he's working with Drake? Is it because he has some side deals on the table that we don't know about? What is his vested interest in rooting for Drake? Is Drake now the underdog? Is 50 Cent rooting for the underdog? Why is 50 Cent going against Kendrick Lamar, saying all these type of things on the Flagrant podcast with Andrew Schultz, joining in the fun and in the laughter, saying Kendrick's a media doll and he makes people feel safe listening to his music. If Pyrus and Crips all got along, they probably gonna be down at the end of the song. Seem like the old city go against me. Every time I'm in the streets, I hear yacht, 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 yacht. Like, I don't think Kendrick has always been safe for the people. I think he's been conscious enough to know to give people the full concept of violence and the consequences of doing things that are illegal, right? I think Kendrick Lamar has painted the picture perfectly about his surroundings, how he grew up, how he's maneuvered through life, the black experience as a man. I think he's done that perfectly, and some artists aren't able to do that. But does it mean that Kendrick Lamar is making his art safe for white consumers? He's making it safe for people who are street and who are thug? Does it mean that he is making safe music? No, I believe he's taking risk with Pimp a Butterfly. I believe he took a risk with Mr. Morale. GNX is safe. Damn, it's safe because we know that these is what the masses want to hear, songs, up-tempo energy type of music. But he's mixing the medicine with the candy, right? And he's always been known to do that. So I don't think it's safe. I think he's always taking a risk with everything that he's done. Like, and I get it. Like, if you ain't got no dog in the fight, if you ain't got no horse in the race, like, you try to stay as neutral as you can. But I don't see where 50 Cent energy, and they said he dissed him on Missionary on the song Guns and Smoke. I don't know where this energy is coming from 50. But I think 50's doing this to kind of put himself in the beef. And to be honest, we see what Ross did early on in the beef. Right? Ross had songs with Drake. You would think Ross would align himself with Drake, but no. He stood on the other side. And 50 Cent, he's done a lot with Kendrick Lamar. You would think 50 would align himself with Kendrick, but he's went on the other side. And I think 50's on the other side either because Rick Ross was against Drake and he don't want to be on the side of Rick Ross. And I also think he's doing it for clout. Like, why make these posts? Why say these outlandish things consistently? Like 50 Cent, we know his motive. We know he's a professional troll. He's one of the first of his kind. We know what he's done, like in his history with beefs. We know what he's done with Ja Rule, Fat Joe, Jadakiss. We know what he's done with Officer Ricky. We know what he's done with Jay-Z, poking fun at him. We know what he's done. Like, so it should be no surprise. Like, we should all see what's happening. This is the formula of 50 Cent. And I feel like he's just doing this to keep his name talked about as he goes into that Vegas residency. And I mean, 50 Cent is always a great interview to watch because you never know what he gonna say, right? Because he don't just answer questions straight up. He talks. He says what he wants to say. He gets his point across ultimately. But me, I just wonder, right? And I also wonder, like, why did Wayne drop that Dedication and 1 and Dedication 2 on streaming services and he didn't tell nobody? Like, it seemed like people just had to find out and see that Wayne dropped new music. Like, if we paid any attention to what J. Cole just did in a rollout of his mixtapes and a rollout of, his 10th anniversary of Forest Hills Drive and the concert at Madison Square Garden, if we didn't pay attention to how J. Cole did that, I don't believe Wayne's management team is doing him any favors. I believe Wayne's management team is sabotaging him. Like, why Wayne is not doing something special like that? Where's the documentary? The Carter 3 documentary, the documentary he never released? Like, where is that at? He could have did that and released the Dedication 1, Dedication 2. Got people excited about the release. Build some buzz around this. Because it's not like he's not working hard. He's doing features. And I'm sure he has an album ready in stock, ready to go. But I feel like he's not rolling out his content the right way. I don't know why he's so disheveled. I don't know why he's so out of pocket. But it seems like he's just not getting right. And to be honest, this seems to be a theme of Young Money, Cash Money at this point. Like, maybe Nicki Minaj, is probably doing things a little bit differently. But Wayne and Drake, it just seems like they're not mentally there. Either their ego is just too big to understand that people, they want to show you love. They want to root for you. But if you're not giving them the opportunity to put their pom poms on, if you're not giving them an opportunity to like pick you up and lift you up how you're supposed to be lifted up as a GOAT, as a king in this game, Wayne, then like you're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing your legacy a disservice. But one thing I'm happy for, one thing I'm glad for, right? And I'm gonna play y'all this little clip.
What Kendrick Lamar, what his lyrics were about you. What can you explain? I'll just quickly read them. I know you know them. I used to bump that Carter 3. Okay. I used to bump that Carter 3.
Yeah, he know.
My Rolly chain proud. Irony, I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down, from Kendrick Lamar. Let Lil Wayne down. And I don't really understand that. Help me out. What was that about?
That was the first time hearing it, but
No, it wasn't.
I think
Why you tweet about it?
I think he just, I think he's a fan, like I'm a fan of his music.
Sure.
He's a fan of mine.
Yeah.
I think
he's definitely a fan of yours. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he just mean by he saw what everybody else he saw how much it meant to me. And I think that's all he mean is that I don't think it, and when we speak, and obviously he can't control that. And, so he didn't let me know. It ain't like he can control it or nothing. And also, I've spoken to him and I wished him all the best and told him he gotta kill it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you better kill it. You gotta kill it.
Okay. Well, did he say anything to enlighten you about?
So that's the green light. You better kill it. You gotta kill it. Right? We want to see Kendrick Lamar, do some big things on that Super Bowl stage and really showcase it. Because, I mean, obviously, if Wayne's not going to be there and everyone feels like Kenny's the best choice, I think it's only right for him to really make sure that it's cemented that he was hands down the best decision for the committee to make as the performer in this Super Bowl. Right? He better kill it. And I don't think Wayne said that with any, like, hating his heart or with any angst. I feel like Wayne said it with, love. He said it, you better kill it with, just as a big homie. Like, man, all right, if you gonna be the one, kill it, bro. Just kill it. You better kill it. Like, I think he said it like that. So I wouldn't pay no more attention to that. They trying to say Drake might feel away, but at the end of the day, what is Wayne supposed to say? Like, he got other young guys in the game that he rock with or that rock with him. Like, Drake is not on Young Money anymore. He's with OVO Sound. So I don't think Wayne owes Drake any like allegiance right now. That's where I feel like people are mistaken. I don't think Wayne owes Drake any allegiance because when Wayne wanted allegiance from him, he was fucking his girl while he was in jail, being conniving. Right? So I don't think Wayne owes Drake any allegiance at this point. I think Wayne should be okay to rock with Kendrick Lamar and show appreciation to Kendrick Lamar and his accomplishments in the hip hop game. Right? And I also think that like there's it don't seem like no bad blood right there. It don't seem like no bad blood, But I'ma sign off. It's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be your son as your kinfolk, William Jewell, giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating. Rap, rap, rap.